Hi guys, so I'm going to do another one of these CBD videos because I like watching stuff like this. I find it relaxing and it's quite relaxing to do as well, and it's more general, so I don't have to have like a specific thing in mind to talk about. But again, as usual, it's not going to maybe be the most fast-paced or like riveting video ever, so if that's not appealing to you, then I recommend just turning it off. Just move this. That's annoying. Yeah. I've got the. I put the dog in the other room because she was just panting like mad. She's half golden retriever, so if it's even a little bit hot the whole day, she's just like. It's sometimes it's like. I think a lot of the time golden retrievers and dogs like that, they look, well, just a lot of dogs in general, they look like they're smiling because they're just hot, so they're just panting. But she does actually smile. Like, I know people, misinterpret the facial expressions of dogs a lot of the time with pit bulls and stuff, to be honest, because they have these insane, like, savage jaws, and they open their mouth and it's in the shape of a smile, and people always think pit bulls are smiling when really it's just the shape of their face. But she does, like, but not. It's not because her mouth is in the shape of a smile. It's just her face. Like, she makes these really happy facial expressions, and she's like got such an expressive face. It's really nice. That's one of my favourite things about her. She's like so expressive. It's crazy. Like, when she's happy or when she sees you, like, she has all these different little reactions throughout her whole body, like her tail, her paws, her eyebrows, her ears, her shoulders, and everything. She just, like, a lot of dogs do. I mean, a lot of dogs, they have a really amazing way of showing, when they're happy. Yeah, we were out earlier. I took her out. And I stopped. I don't remember what I was doing. I stopped to do something, and she saw a little piece of something on the floor. I hope it was kibble. I think it was just kibble. And she stopped. She sniffed it, and I just watched her because I thought she's just sniffing some random piece of something. And then I saw her getting closer, and then before I could stop her, she just went. I just ate it. I was like, "That's fucking good, isn't it? That's a great instinct to have." What if that was, rat poison or something? It's so stupid. So I was really angry with her. And I just made her a batch of homemade dog food. I always really like making it for her because she really likes it, She prefers homemade dog food, and it's easy to make. I really enjoy making it. And enjoy giving it to her. I was looking forward to giving her a nice big bowl when we got in. And then instead I made her wait for an hour or so. I was pissed off that she ate some random fucking shite off the floor. She just had some biscuits before we left as well. And she was like, "Oh, look at this. Random shit." Their survival instincts are fucked. Like, one time on the beach, she found like a rotting carcass. It looked like a small shark or something. It was this huge, disgusting, rotting carcass. And she was so excited, ran over and tried to, like, stick her face in it. And it's like, what kind of instinct is that? To eat rotten stuff. She picked up once like a foul, rotten razor clam from the beach, and she was running around with it in her mouth like a cigar. It's just, it's not a survival instinct. They don't have survival instincts, obviously, because we've evolved them to be, pets. So the ones that have good survival instincts are all gone because they weren't good pets. They were good dogs, they were good at being animals, but the ones that are good at being pets, like her, are the ones we've kept. The ones that have good social skills and communication skills and are cute to look at, not the ones that are good survivors. I watched this, I think it was a Nat Geo documentary about Arctic wolves. I'm sure it was a Nat Geo one. And it was, yeah, I think so. It was about Arctic wolves anyway. I mean, they're so beautiful to look at, and I guess because they remind you of your dog, you know, and particularly her. She looks kind of like an Arctic wolf, so I really kind of like empathise with them and like them, and I just find wolves incredibly majestic and beautiful animals anyway. But it was kind of crazy in this documentary that at one point there's a pregnant one and she's on her own, and she's been separated from her pack, and she tries to find a place to have her cubs, and she has a den, and then she's on her own and she needs to get food and stuff for them after making this little den, so she has to go off and leave them, and I can't remember exactly what happens, but basically this other local pack of wolves find the den and they kill and I think eat all the cubs, and she just has to watch. She just watches from afar as they eat the cubs, and then she has to just like run off, and there's nothing she can do. And it feels, you know, you see it and you think, oh, it's so horrible that they did that. And like, that was my girlfriend's reaction, you know, she was like, that's fucked up, like, that they ate the cubs. But it's really not, like, it's just so easy for us to say that, because we live with the top of the food chain, you know, and we don't, their lives are just brutal, like, and we kind of like romanticize it, and oh, hang on, that's Luna. Oh my god. Yeah, that was Luna barking to be let back in. It was quite cute, but also like highlights my point, you know, of like how soft they are compared to, like, it was funny watching these Arctic wolves, like, because they look like her, but they're just beyond different. Like, they couldn't be more different, you know. It's crazy. Their lifestyles couldn't be more different, and a lot of dogs, domesticated dogs, you know, they look kind of savage and tough, and they like can't do anything. But yeah, we'll have to listen to her panting now. I don't know if you can even hear it on this anyway, but yeah, she didn't want to be in that. I'd put her in there next to the fan. But yeah, they ate these cubs anyway, and I mean, they have to do it really, because imagine they leave it, they let those cubs grow up, they let her have them, they let her start her own little pack in their territory, when they're already fighting tooth and nail, like, just for crumbs of food, literally. Like, it's unbelievably brutal the way they live. And, you know, they're pretty sentient and aware, and I think a lot of them really must find it, like, incredibly hard to live like that, to fight all the time and to struggle all the time. And yeah, that's just what they have to do. Like, I don't think they take great pleasure in killing cubs, but yeah. Whereas there are other animals that are more sadistic and seem to sadistically enjoy hurting each other, and I find that harder to sort of reckon with, I guess. Like some primates and other animals, the way they treat each other is just cruel, and it's purely malicious, you know? Or sometimes it's just disgusting. Like, I was reading the other day about how otters rape baby seals to death sometimes. I've always really liked otters, but you know how, like, otter couples, like, hold paws, and it's really cute when you see pictures of it. Like, it's really, really cute. It's like the most adorable thing ever. But yeah, my girlfriend would always be like, oh, it's so sweet that they're holding hands. And I think, like, yeah, superficially, but they're not like, oh, we love you. Like, they're doing it because they don't want to die, and they're like, we have to hold hands, you know. And they're not like doing it to show affection for one another. And I don't want any like otter experts in the comments correcting me, by the way, I'm not interested. Actually, it is a show of affection. But yeah, so they look adorable. I love looking at otters. Like, I love watching them do stuff. But they're not an animal I really know particularly. You know, there's some animals, you know, I know quite well, like what they're like, what their characters are like orcas and dolphins and dogs, what domesticated dogs, and wolves, and you have a sense of their character. Otters I never really did. But then the other day I was reading about how they rape baby seals to death sometimes. And there was one particular story, and it was like disgusting. It was disgusting and sad. Like, he raped this baby seal to death for hours, and then after it had died, he held on to it and carried on raping it for a few hours, and then he just discarded it. And like, whether it was a case of mistaken identity or he knew it was a baby seal and did it anyway, it's just as disgusting, really. And so the way an animal looks is really not much of an indicator of anything, you know. In terms of you know how lovable they are as characters. Elephants are another one, right? Like, elephants are stunning, but they're kind of ugly as well. Like, they're elephants. If elephants were horrible, you would probably just think they were disgusting. If they had horrible personalities, but they don't. Elephants generally, I know they can be dicks, but I think generally elephants are like highly intelligent, highly social, often very surprisingly kind, thoughtful animals, and just something very endearing about their character, and it radiates from them. It radiates in the way they carry themselves, the way they move. If they were nasty fuckers, like, you would find them probably revolting to look at, because when you really look at them, like, they should be disgusting, but they're not. They're not at all. Like, they're amazing. I think, for me, they're one of my favourites, for sure. Absolutely love animals. Animals. Absolutely love animals. Elephants, I mean. Absolutely love elephants. They're amazing. But yeah, so otters, yeah. Raping them baby seals to death. It's not a thing, obviously, that otters do, like, routinely, but it's happened on numerous occasions, and in general I think they are quite, you know, rapey animals. So I know most animals just rape, you know, it's not really like that scandalous in the animal kingdom. It's not like, I was raped. Like, it's just how they have sex most of the time. But yeah, dolphins have even raped humans before. The thing with dolphins, though, and you know, to be fair, the same should be said for chimpanzees and stuff, although I don't tend to make a lot of excuses for them. But the thing with dolphins and other similar animals is, because they're so intelligent, there's a very high level of variance, because those two things kind of go hand in hand. So like with humans, we couldn't really be intelligent if there wasn't all this variance in our you know, in everything, but particularly in our brains. That's what allows room to foster this, you know, capacity for intelligence. So I think you have to take the good with the bad with some animals, like dolphins. Generally, I think dolphins are pretty cool. Like, I do think they're nice. I know they gang rape female dolphins. I know they sometimes have gang raped humans. Can you imagine? I mean, it's unthinkable, really. I mean, it's, yeah. I think they've raped humans to death before. I believe there was a story of dolphin rape caves, where they would bring humans to caves to rape them. I can't remember if that's 100% true, but generally dolphins are actually very cool with us. They, you know, they let us get in and piss around and swim with them. I would love to meet dolphins. I hope I can one day. I Orcas, I prefer orcas. Orcas are probably my favourite animal. They're certainly up there. But I don't want to meet them. I'm scared of them. Like, because orcas have never killed a human in the wild in recorded history, and I really hope they keep that record up, because they've come close, I would say. And when they down these boats, I mean, like, you know, people could die. Luckily, I don't know if that would count as them killing a person, but anyway, in recorded history, they've never killed a person outside of captivity, which goes to show how incredibly sick and twisted the conditions are at places like SeaWorld. It's just like, if there is a hell, phew, those people are going to it. But I mean, it's a bit hypocritical. I eat meat, and a lot of it is probably not very well sourced meat, so it is hypocritical. But to do it so gratuitously and performatively with such intelligent animals, and to do it in such an unnecessarily, like, excessively cruel way, you know, it's just I don't know. But the thing with orcas is, like, you don't want to be the first human that they kill, you know. Like, dolphins are more likely to fuck you up. But I'm just not scared of them. I don't know why. I would be. I think I would be in the water. But a bit of a fucking racket, this, isn't it? Yeah, like, in the water, I'm sure once I got in with the dolphins, I'd probably be pretty scared. You know, you're in their turf. They're like aliens. They are literally like aliens. But orcas, they're too big. And I'm too aware of their power, and how quickly they can just, I mean, like, it's unbelievable. Like, I have this argument quite a lot with my girlfriend, because she really likes great white sharks, and I'm always like, they're fucking pussies compared to orcas. Like, because the whole point of a great white shark is that it's savage, and obviously they are, like, you know, compared to 99.9% of animals. But the whole point of great white sharks is they are just savage killers. Like, there's nothing else about them. They're not social. They're not interesting. That, you know, in terms of, like, their behaviour, they just kill. Like, and they're really good at it. But when they get so royally fucked up by orcas, you have to question, well, you know, what why even care about them? Like, they're not why even care about them, but they're not even the best at their own thing, is what I'm saying. And it really puts into perspective how incredibly savage orcas are. That a great white shark makes every other animal in the ocean look like a bitch. Orcas make great white sharks look like bitches. Like, they come up to them, and the shark, like, they can't even react, because it's not in their brain. It's not in their brain to react to a situation like that. They don't understand. You know, you can see, like, they don't react. They're just sort of like, what the fuck? And they can do nothing. It's like me fighting a UFC fighter. Like, there is nothing that the shark can do. Orcas just fuck them up. And they're huge. Orcas, I mean, like, they're huge. And I don't think people realise how tough they are. They're unbelievable, and so smart and strategic. And I mean, yeah, it's just there would be nothing you could do, just nothing. and there's something about them. It's like so mysterious and dark, and they have this like quietly, like powerfully intelligent energy. I mean, they're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. But there's something about them that's taps into the kind of darker side of the universe. It's like you feel like they've seen shit collectively as a species in their like genetic memory. It's like there's something, you know, like the Japanese, I think, used to say they were reincarnated samurai who died in battle. And like it's something like that, but more so. It's like there's something almost in a very human way sometimes. The way that very smart people can be quite jaded and quite have a slightly dark outlook on life, and I feel that from orcas. Like they're playful and they're funny and they're interesting and smart and they express joy in different ways. But there's something about them, you know. It's like they know that in the ocean they're really like, and in the same way that we do, we know that we're like the top of the food chain and pinnacle of, you know, existence on Earth, and it's almost like depressing for us in a way. And we don't have to worry about the existential threat they worry about is running out of food, and there are other things, pollutants and stuff and boat rudders, but and I know as humans we have to worry. We worry about being killed by other humans, but other animals, there's stuff that's below them, there's stuff that's above them, and that is just like hardwired. And of course, like prey animals, it's just part of life, you know, like it's just part of how they feel and how they think. And I think with humans, for example, like we've gotten so far away from having to fear for our survival that it makes us kind of depressed. And orcas have to fear much more for their survival, because if they don't eat, if they don't hunt, they die, you know, and they're under threat, and they're sometimes, you know, the food supply is a huge problem for them, but they don't have to worry about something suddenly creeping up on them and just fucking them up. Like, not really. They don't have to look over their shoulder constantly, and I think it gives you more time to dwell and to think and to sort of process and reflect on life, you know. And I feel like there's something almost there's like a cynicism in them or something, whereas dolphins have the same feeling of like absurdism, but I think less of the cynicism, you know. I think dolphins take life a bit more lightly in the good moments, and they have to worry about getting fucked up by orcas as well. You know, I mean, dolphins are quite high on the food chain, but they're not safe from everything, and they get singled out and targeted by orcas. There was one pod of orcas, 2 males and 2 females. There was a pod of 4, I don't remember where, and they subsisted entirely on dolphins. They were known for they only ate dolphins, and that's very common with orcas. Different pods eat completely different things, and some of them just eat everything, and some of them eat a mix of 1 or 2 things. Some of them just eat one thing. There's some that basically just eat stingrays, and the way they get the stingrays is like really dangerous, because, well, first of all, they have to bite the front of the stingray and swing it around until it dies, and I think sometimes they bash it against things, but basically they have to kill it before it can sting them. Quite a dangerous way to eat. and they beach themselves a lot looking for food, and that can be a big problem. They get stuck, and we have to save them sometimes. And they're intelligent enough to know that we've saved them, which is another thing that's amazing about them. Yeah, we have obviously a weird relationship with orcas, but they obviously know. I think it's a combination of lots of things. I think they know that they should be fearful of us in a way. They know if we want to, we can just take them and they're gone forever, which is a horrifying thought. Because some animals are dumb, right? And like, you take their baby and they have a natural hormonal response, and it feels terrible for them, and it's awful. Even like dumb animals, simple animals, you take their cubs or their pups or their babies or whatever away from them, and they feel awful. Don't bark, Luna. No. And don't knock over my camera. Okay. You stay there. No barking. Good. But some animals, yeah, like, they have that response. Obviously, all animals, like, you take away their young. But the thing is, with orcas and other similar animals, they're not just having this base level hormonal response and this kind of ingrained thing. Like, they're so intelligent. They have these complex relationships with each other. Like, there was that one orca whose calf died, and she swam around for weeks with him, like, on her head, and she just, like, I don't know why, she just couldn't accept it, or she wanted to show him, or it's like hauntingly sad. And she wasn't just going, oh, my young are reproduced and it's not going to work, my instincts are not, like, that's not what my instinct craves. She was like, that's so-and-so, whatever her name for him was. He was like this, he had a ambitious, quirky personality, he liked it when I did this, I thought he was going to grow up to do this. They have these, like, complex relationships. So when they lose each other, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So they've experienced us coming and snatching them, snatching their babies. Like, it's unbelievable. And they stay together. Like, there are other animals, like, that we do that to for food and stuff, but, like, they don't really have the same relationship. I'm not justifying it. I know it's wrong to eat cows and pigs and stuff. I do know it's wrong. But they don't have the same complexity in their relationships, and they don't stay together in the same way. As far as I know, I might be completely wrong, actually, but I feel that the bonds that some animals have, and just to do something like that to something of that level of intellect, is beyond cruel. And to throttle, because it's not, like birds, for example, caged birds, it's so far away from being able to do what a bird is supposed to do. It's supposed to fly, and you're just making it not a bird. It's an insult to nature, to God, to the universe, whatever. Like, it's just wrong. And when an animal is as intelligent as an orca, and you reduce it to doing circus tricks, it's an insult to nature, Whereas a lot of livestock, they're just livestock. Like, they're not really anything else. I don't know. It's a horribly complicated and difficult topic, and one where I know I'm a hypocrite. So, yeah. Speaking of water, we went to a water park the day before yesterday, and it was awesome. It was really good. I highly recommend. I feel like if you're, like, as an adult, like, it's, a lot of people do, to be fair, like, a lot of people do take time to do fun things like this, but if you don't, if you like enjoy like fucking roller coasters or whatever it is, like, I think while you still have the chance, before you're dead or before you have kids or before you get into some accident or whatever, you might not have as much time in the future, like, take the chance, because I started thinking about it, like, because I was getting a bit bothered about the dog, because we can't really do much with her, and it was pissing me off, because like, we take such good care of her, and sometimes it is hard that we can't really do anything, but we can, but it's not as easy. Like, if we wanted to just go to like our preferred choice of theme park and just go there and spend the day, we couldn't, because she'd be on her own all day, and we can't trust her with dog sitters. She's got too many special needs and stuff. So I was having like a third life crisis. I think I talked about this in the other video. I started to have like a kind of third life crisis, because I was like, we're gonna have kids probably in like a year or two, and then we're not gonna be able to do anything. Like, and I can't imagine having this injured dog and babies. I mean, I can't even fathom how hard that's gonna be. On our own in a foreign country. Oof. Rough. But anyway, there's going to be a point soon where, sorry about the noise of this, it's quite loud really, isn't it? Probably wake you up if you were asleep. Burned. I don't really mind when they burn, to be honest. But I prefer that to when nothing comes out. Bit harsh. So soon there'll come a time where we can't do anything. Like, I started freaking out about it a bit. I was like, we might only have 1 or 2 summers left of like fun. So I decided to go to a water park, take the day off, and just do whatever it took to organise it. Because it's not that far away, so we were able to do it. But I was planning on driving there, and I've had this whole bullshit situation with my car recently, and the airbags aren't working currently, so didn't really want to do a long drive without airbags. And so we ended up getting public transport, which took a lot longer. But we went, and yeah, it was fucking good actually. Like, it's called Aquarama. It's not the best water park ever, but it's good. It did the job for sure, and it wasn't too busy. Like, the queues weren't that bad. There weren't that many people there. There's not enough, I would say, like long rides. A lot of them you queue, and then you're just like, woo, and you like go down a slide, and then you're kind of like, okay, it's over. It was really fun for like 4 seconds, and that was a bit frustrating, because when you go on roller coasters, it takes a while. You get a good like sort of meaty experience, but at this water park, yeah, some of them were a bit too short, basically. But it was good, yeah, it was really good. It was just good to have that kind of fun where you don't really think about anything else while you're doing it. You're just having fun. And just in the moment. And we were among the older people there. There's not a lot of adults there. There was a lot of kids where I'm like, where are your parents? They just let you come here by yourself, like, because you couldn't even see parents in like the cafes and stuff. But yeah, it was mostly kids. And then there was this couple came along, man, they were like, those like fucked up Instagram couples where like the woman is like, well, both of them were like so tanned, I'm talking like brown, like so tanned, and both covered in like nasty tattoos. She had them all over her arse and shit. She had this huge fake like silicone arse, with like tats all over it, and she was wearing like a bikini thong. And he was obviously on steroids. It was like one of these massive, like ridiculous looking steroid dudes. He's like brown with fake tan and tats everywhere. And they're like walking around all serious. And we were just looking at him like, what are you fucking doing, man? You're at a water park, like, with like kids and stuff. You're walking around, like, just to look like that in the first place, like, it's absurd. Like, it's absolutely absurd. But, like, also, yeah, like, they were walking up the stairs towards one of the slides, and he was like slapping her ass and stuff. It's like, this place is like 90% kids, and you're walking around like that in a fog. Like, where do you think you are? And then there were all these staff that asked to take your picture and try and sell you your picture. Obviously, we were like, no, that's fine. And we saw them, of course, they paid to get that done. They paid to get their picture done. They were there for about an hour, and then they left. It's like, what did you expect? Did you expect you were going to come here and people were going to be like, look at those big muscles? Like, there's going to be all these, like, other, like, fucking steroid silicon people here, and they were all going to be jealous of you. And, like, that's the air that these people have, I think. Like, they walk around as if we want to be like that, you know? like as if, like, I'm sure, like, most women probably think, oh, I'd like to have a bit of money to do a bit of surgery, to get this done, get that done, you know. They don't want to look like that. They could, if most women could if they wanted to. They just don't want to. And the same with, like, roids, like, and these geezers, these, like, insane, like, yeah, like, tans and everything. It's like, you've taken a thing that people want, and you've done it, like, tenfold, to a point where it's just obscene. Like, it's just ridiculous. And it's almost like in their mind, the world is a competition to see who can be the most tanned and have the most tattoos and, like, the largest, roundest arse and the most steroids. And, like, yeah, most people don't want to look like that. You look insane. Like, I'm not, you know, obviously if people want to look like that, they want to fucking look like that. I'm sure some of them are okay people, but generally it's like, what sort of shit goes through your head to be like that every day? Like, every day you wake up and you're like, yeah, I've got a fucking ginormous fake ass. Like, every day you just, how do you even sleep, like, on top of that thing? And the bloke as well, it's like, man, you're gonna die, like, from steroid abuse, you know, you're killing yourself. And for what? You're not big enough to be a professional bodybuilder. You're not strong enough to be, like, you're just basically doing it because you're so insecure that you feel you have to have, like, the best pictures on Instagram amongst the incredibly trashy people that have the same value system as you. And it's fucked up, man. Like, it's fucked up. It's crazy. Like, what most people value is, like, just quite normal, you know? Like, quite, like men say a lot about women. They're like, oh, I like a natural look or whatever, which is, like, a lot of us say that, and it's kind of true, but it's kind of bollocks, because, like, you like women that have done some stuff to enhance their appearance, but not where you can tell, basically. You know, you could just, as soon as it's obvious they've done it, it's weird. And the same women a lot of the time will be like, we just want a man with, like, a normal physique who works out, and then it's like a picture of, like, Hugh Jackman or something, and it's like, that's not a normal man. That's not someone who just goes to the gym. He takes a lot of steroids. What they mean is they don't like Dorian Yates or Ronnie Coleman, basically. But, like, no, really, in general, most people, like, I think with men's physiques, I think that probably what is the optimal physique in terms of aesthetics is peak natural. Like, the peak naturally attainable physique, which obviously very few people have, because it's the peak naturally attainable physique, is basically, I would say, what most women would find, and really just objectively, like, I'm not gay, but, like, objectively just kind of looks the best. Like, people who, but most people don't have the genetics to do that. So like, the peak natural physique without steroids is equivalent to an average steroid physique, is what I'm saying. So you can achieve really like a perfect physique without steroids, but you have to be in the top sort of 1% of like commitment and genetics. There's a guy called Vitruvian Physique. I think his name in real life is Ivan or Igor, and I'm pretty sure he's clean. And he seems like a cool guy. He's in great shape, considering his height as well. He's in like really, because it's much harder if you're tall. It's much harder to be in good shape. Because if you're short, like it's very, like if you look at, for example, Jeff Nippard, he's spelled like Jeff Nippard. It's phonetic. He's quite famous in the bodybuilding community and stuff. And he looks great, but he is like 5'2" or something insane. So you don't see that, but when you actually see how short he is, it's much easier basically for a short guy to pack on muscle. So if you see someone who's tall and in good shape, like if assuming they're natural, then they've done a really good job generally to like get into that shape, because it is quite a lot easier if you're short to look really stacked. But yeah, that Vitruvian Physique fella. I looked at a video the other day of Strength Side, he's called. He was good, and I always felt he seemed like someone who would be natural, because he's kind of like a hippie, and he's into gymnastics and calisthenics. The other day I saw a video of him, and I was like, I'm not quite sure, because he said that in previous videos I saw he doesn't really monitor what he eats. He just, if he feels he's gaining a bit of weight, he'll eat a bit less. If he feels he's not gaining enough, he'll eat a bit more. And I saw a video of him the other day, and he looked unbelievably good. Like his physique is crazy, and it's probably, I would say, it's sort of optimal in terms of what's like aesthetically like attractive and like what women probably like. But yeah, I kind of think he started TRT, to be honest, because quite late into his kind of career, he suddenly looks quite a lot better. And I saw the same about Jeffrey Verity Schofield, who I always thought was sort of a peak natural physique, because he was widely considered to be natural. But I think it's a carefully crafted image, to be honest, because he gave the impression that he was natural because he openly admitted like he's not strong, and he only lifts for his physique. He doesn't lift to get stronger, he just does it for like to look good and stuff like this. And he's not insanely lean, so it leads to the impression like, oh, maybe he is natural. But he was really big, like, and he was very scientific about doing only what was good for size, But then I saw one of him the other day, and I was like, nah, he's gotten massive now. Like, he looks crazy. I don't think it's possible, because it happened so suddenly, But what I do think is 90% of the time we're probably correct in those assessments, but probably there are some people out there, because how, for example, like everyone, like there's a sort of a range of like penis sizes or like breast sizes or whatever, or let's just say hand sizes, right? But then there are people out there, there's a normal range, and there's the upper end of that range, the lower end. There are people who just have insanely big hands, or whatever limit is, and they're complete outliers in that regard, and there's barely any of them, but there are these people who just have like certain features that are just crazy. Or the guy with the world's biggest penis, it was like ridiculous. Like it was like cartoonishly big. It's like it doesn't follow the usual sort of scale. It's just like off the scale. And I think there's probably people out there who are in like these absurd genetic outliers who just have ridiculous physiques that look like you could only ever get it with steroids, and everyone's like, yeah, he's on steroids, and you would just obviously, kind of rightly in a sense, think that this guy's on steroids. And there are probably a couple of them who are so genetically gifted that they'll never be able to convince people that they're not on steroids. But it is funny, man. It's funny. The people who lie, it's just like so dumb. I've noticed as well, they don't like to directly, a lot of the time, unless they're crazy, but they don't like to directly deny it. They deny it in these weird indirect ways. They don't like to say, I have never used steroids and I never will, or no, I'm not on TRT and I never will be. Like, they never say it directly. They come out with these really weird answers, and it's morally wrong. Like, because I went on this. There was I think it was like a fitness over 30 subreddit or something, and I was only like 31 at the time. I shouldn't have been on there, but anyway. Well, I was over 30. I guess I should have been, but anyway, this guy posted and he talked about like just had a kid recently, got back into the gym for the last couple of months, blah blah blah. Anyway, he was fucking ripped, like so lean, and like had an insane physique. And everyone was like, that's amazing, bro. And I swear to God, there were literally numerous comments of people being like, this makes me feel like shit about my progress. And people were like, what's your routine, bro? I'm so jealous. And like, I've had kids recently and I'm trying to get in shape and I look like shit and stuff. And he was like, haha, just live heavy, bro, and get plenty of protein. And I also take creatine. And I was like, nah. And I was like, you're not natural, obviously. Like, you're lying. He didn't even say he just didn't mention it. And if you were, you would mention it, right? And I was like, you're on TRT, aren't you? And he was like, the fact that you think that, maybe you just need to work harder at the gym, bro, and maybe. I was like, okay, so you're not denying it. And then we kept going back and forth, and he wouldn't say it. And then eventually, I got him to admit it, and he went, yeah, I am on TRT, but like, I don't see how that's relevant. It's like, there's people in this thread saying they feel bad about themselves because of you, because you wanted like a cheap fake bit of hollow validation, and that came at the cost of everyone else's self-esteem, so that you could have a little boost, so they'll all feel worse than you and you'll feel better than all of them, falsely, for something that's a lie. And to me, it's morally wrong. Like, it is just morally wrong. You should tell the truth. I know some people have like contractual obligations and stuff and they can't. It's a different story. But yeah, man, it's wrong. It is wrong. Like, I saw a picture of a guy, I don't remember who it was some actor, and he went on The View, and he said, and they showed his physique, and again, like, he looked like mad, like definitely on roids, obviously. And they were like, how did you do it? And he was like, and like all the View women were like, like giggling and stuff. And he was like, oh, I just like started eating better and went to the gym, did a bit of this, bit of that. I was like, come on, pal. So all the women watching at home, looking at their like out of shape husbands, are like, if he just went to the gym and did a bit of this and a bit of that and like ate a bit more meat, he would look like that guy. No, he fucking wouldn't. Like, and the minute that you actually start training, you just realise all that stuff is bollocks. Like, it's like that The Rock says he's not on steroids is fucking embarrassing. Like, it's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. It's literally not humanly possible. Like, it's literally, and people be like, you don't work hard enough at the gym, bro. Like, plenty of people work incredibly fucking hard at the gym. People also, your muscles reach failure. So like with running, right, you can go David Goggins mode And there's a reason with David Goggins, it's about stuff like running. And I know he does pull-ups, but what David Goggins can't do, using just the power of his mind, is lift something that his arms can't lift. You can't do it. Your arms, like, when you get to the end of a workout or you get to the end of a set and you've reached failure, you've reached failure. And some people think they're at failure and they're not really pushing. But, generally speaking, it's objective. You literally can't lift it again. And if you try and force yourself, your form's going to deteriorate so badly, you're going to do your back in or something. It's not like running. Running is mental. Like, running, you can push yourself. You can do more. You can always run more. You can always walk more. You can't always do another rep. You reach a point, you just can't do it. So, telling kids, like, you just need to work really hard, like The Rock. No, that's not how it works. Like, it's really not how it works. There are people, to be fair, who train with a deranged intensity, and that's beneficial. Like, of course, if you're curious, look at it's quite in sharp contrast to this video, but look at Dorian Yates' training video. I think it's called Blood and Guts, and watch the way Dorian Yates trains. It's psychotic. He kind of disproves what I'm saying, to be honest. I'm kind of disproving my own point. Not really, but in a way. But he trains like a madman, like what he used to. It's like he's giving birth. Like, it really is like watching someone have a baby. Like, every rep, it's like he's just had a baby. It's scary. It's frightening to watch. And he's got his coach there, like, lifting. When he reaches failure, he lifts, so he does negative reps and stuff. And like that, obviously it worked for him. As well as a lot of chemicals, which he is obviously open about. But he's cool, Dorian Yates. I like him a lot. But if you go and do that and you don't take steroids, you're probably just going to get a shitload of injuries, and it will be, you'll first of all, it's just a great thing to do regardless of the result, like, for your mind, and it's just a cool thing to do, to train that hard. But if you do that and you don't take steroids and you don't take estrogen blockers and insulin and all this shit that they're taking, like, you're not gonna look anything like Dorian Yates. You're not even gonna look like, fucking like Christian Bale or whoever when they got fit for a film. Like, it doesn't happen. It's just, and I'm not saying that based on myself specifically, because, like, that's always the very cheap accusation from either from steroid guys or from people who are very naive about steroid use, and they'll go like, "You're just jealous, you don't look like him, bro." And it's like, for me personally, like, I didn't start training until I was quite old, and I feel quite pleased. Like, I feel like I'm probably like I've done fine, basically, for my age, relative to my age and the length of time I've been training for. Because, like, I started training when I was like 30, so generally, like, you make most progress when you're really, like, when you're a teenager or you're in your early 20s, and you have that whole, I missed out on, like, really, like, 15 years of highly efficient sort of growth period. So I'm quite happy to be in, quite good shape, considering I don't really these days care about my diet or whatever. So it's not like that with me, because it would be very unreasonable for me to expect to be in really, really good shape. It would just be stupid, because I couldn't be, because, like, yeah, I'm 32 now, almost 33, and I've only been training like a few years. But everywhere I go, when I see people, like, I see people training, and people I know, and, like, people I've known over the years, people train hard and they eat well and stuff, and it doesn't, your body doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. And it's the sudden change. Like, Kumail Nanjiani, that was a funny one as well. A ridiculous transformation. And he was like, yeah, I just started training harder and eating good food. I got a diet plan from a personal trainer. It doesn't fucking work like that. Stop lying to people. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. Like, it's just a blatant lie. But yeah, there are people who go too far the other way, and anyone who's in remotely good shape, they're like, he's on roids, and some of them it's a bit sad, like the obsession with it. But I don't consider myself to be in that camp. I just think I'm savvy to it, basically. I think I've developed a pretty good perception over the years of what's normal and what's not, mostly by judging when people change very suddenly in a short period of time. That's when it's like really obvious, obviously. And by looking at that data, you start to get a sense of perspective on what's normal and what's not. But anyway, it's a very sort of specialist interest, but it's probably very uninteresting for a lot of people. Would be cool to have started training at like 14. That would be good, but then it wouldn't mean that much to you, I think, as well. Like, you'd sort of think like you'd have always been in shape, you know? I tell you though, guys who get ahead of the curve at that age, like when I was 14, man, I was fucking fat, I had tits, I had like the worst haircut ever, I dressed horribly, I was so awkward, like stare at the floor all the time. I didn't know how to socialise, I didn't have any skills, I wasn't doing well at school, I didn't have many mates. At times I had none. And you know, like when, I think it's quite common for men when you get older to like try to like develop yourself, you know, and catch up on things, and yeah, like kind of develop yourself as a person and improve and all of this. And most people don't do that when they're younger, you know, but guys who get ahead of the curve must just be like flying. Like when you're like 16, 17, 18, it all seems so difficult, like getting girls and stuff. Like, it just seems like, how could I ever do this? And it's weird to think as an adult, to think like how easy it was. Like, would have been so easy. I just used my brain a little bit, you know, and just like thought long term a bit and just planned and been a bit smart and like worked on myself. Like, it would have been the easiest thing in the world. Like, so easy. And then when you're an adult, like, you have other priorities, you know, and just life is just different. And also, you know, you sort of, you miss out on a lot of opportunities in life in general, I mean. And like, you know, when you sort of develop yourself as an adult, you work on your skills and you do this and that, like, people don't really care so much, you know. It doesn't really mean that much, you know, like. But if you're able to do those things when you're young, crazy. You can do so much. I think we waste so much of our youth, generally. I know I wasted almost all of mine on negativity and insecurity and just pointless stuff. Completely wasted it. Like, it's a good 10 years or more completely wasted. 10 years. And 10 years of like freedom and and potential that diminishes as you grow older. And I just wasted so much of it, man. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't regret it per se, because I'm glad of how things are, you know. And I've had to compensate for it in certain ways. So, from that point of view, has this run out of space yet? Is it still on? It's still on. I've had to compensate for it in certain ways. I feel it has helped forge my personality, because like I failed at so much stuff, you know. And I learned a lot through that, and I learned a lot by starting everything very late in life. So I'm glad from that point of view. But it is crazy to imagine like how much more you can achieve if you have the right mindset early on. And we don't really instill that in people, or at least we don't do a good job of instilling it in young people most of the time. Yeah, I remember when I was at school, my friend, like, because I was like really, like, I never had girlfriends or anything at school, but I really like badly wanted them. Like, I was obsessed with girls. Like, obviously all teenage boys are. I think I was more so, like, more than average, you know. I just like, all I wanted was like a girl, well, not even necessarily a girlfriend, but just like fucking kiss a girl or shag one or whatever. But also I wanted a girlfriend as well. And I had a friend who was similarly obsessed, but he actually did, like, he would get with girls and stuff, and he had girlfriends. And I remember we were like, maybe we were 15 or 16, and he told me he'd started working out, and he would just like every morning do like push-ups and sit-ups and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like, you do that really? Like, I remember thinking it was so ridiculous that he was going to that effort. I was like, that's so fucking dumb, man. What's wrong with you? It's like, you crazy? You do push-ups? What the fuck's the matter with you? I thought it was like ridiculous to do that. That's so funny, man. Just such a warped mindset. I feel I have a healthier mindset about all of it now. Like, there was a time when I was training where it was purely out of like insecurity, you know. Not purely, but that was the impetus initially to start going really hard. And like, obviously you want to look good, and that aspect is nice, particularly when you're like bald, and you know the only beard you can grow is like a Three Musketeers one. Nothing grows here, so you have to go for the Three Musketeers look. I was saying with my girlfriend, like, no one chooses this. You have this because it's the last one available. Like, okay, fine, I guess I'll have the Three Musketeers one. So when you're like, you know, you're not that tall, you're bald, you got the Three Musketeers thing, you want to feel good about yourself, you know. I'm not single, so it's not like that. You just want to feel better about yourself, so that's nice. But really, it stopped being about that a long time ago, and I think that's what's great about strength training, and I always feel weird calling it bodybuilding, because bodybuilding you associate with like enormous roided up dudes. So I don't really know what to call it. It's not really strength training for me. I'm not interested in. I don't do powerlifting, so I'm interested in strength training. But like calisthenic strength, and I do some weights, but anyway, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm not as interested anymore in like the physique aspect of it. I still am, but basically, like, yeah, when you look at people who, if you go to a gym and you see all like the guys there who are training really hard, I would say like almost all of those guys, almost every single one, started going to the gym because they wanted women to like them, but that's no longer why they go. Like, that can push you and get you in the door, but it's not going to keep you there. Well, it can actually. That's bullshit. It can. and it motivates people, but it's not usually what carries it on. At a certain point, you then just become, you get into the process of pushing yourself, testing yourself. It's a routine. You get stronger. You have to be disciplined, and it gives you something that's lacking from most men's lives. And it's not really about stuff like that anymore. It's just a thing that you do because it's a thing that you do, and it's as much mental as it is physical in a lot of ways, because it's the discipline and the commitment and the focus and everything. So yeah, I think that's why people start, but I think they continue for a lot of other reasons. And now for me, yeah, it's just a thing that I do. I'm afraid to stop. Like, there's times when I've sort of thought, maybe like exercise is taking up too much of my time, and then I think like, God, no, I can't stop, because I don't know what will happen. And it forces me, because it means like, it forced me to sort my sleep out, because when me and my girlfriend broke up, I started training like crazy. And then I was like, right, I have to sleep really well, otherwise I won't make any progress. So it forced me to sort out my sleep. Then it forced me to sort out my diet. And it forced me to keep a regular routine and not stay in bed late in the morning. It forced me to maintain at good energy levels. So like, even though it took up time every day, it was actually making me live a much more orderly and efficient life in general. And so yeah, there's times I considered, maybe I don't need to do all of this. And then I've just been afraid to stop, because it really like turned me into a disciplined person. And it, as I say, it started because I was like, women think I'm fucking disgusting. Like, I went through a breakup and I was like, man, I thought I was alright, but fuck no. Like, it was a rude awakening for me. And it was horrible. I felt, to be honest, like really bad. It was really like depressing, and because I was insulated from it. I was in a relationship. I was kind of like sheltered, because I was in a relationship where I was held in quite high regard, you know. And yeah, and then started trying to date, and I was like, man, this is fucked. And it was devastating at first. And then it wasn't just that. I wanted to be stronger, because I also, like, I became quite angry, you know. I became like, so it wasn't just an appearance thing, but I also became like, suddenly I was thrust into this world of being like competitive with other men. So I wanted to be strong, I wanted to get good at fighting, I wanted to look good, and I was angry. I had a lot of anger about the breakup and everything, and so I was training like crazy, and those things all gave me this initial like energy, and then I just got obsessed with it, and now I just really want my pull-up numbers to go up. And I'm kind of annoyed because I've gained weight and my pull-ups have gone right down, and I just really want to get my pull-ups up like above 20. I reached 20 like good form pull-ups, and I was like quite happy with that. I wanted more, but they've gone down again because I've gained weight, and it's annoying. But yeah, I just care about that, and then I care like, if I don't push myself and I have a shit workout, I don't care really about the results. I just care that I've let myself down, and that I didn't try hard, and it makes me feel, it's sort of pathetic, you know. It's not that strong, it's too strong of a word, but I feel mentally weak, and I think, what's wrong with me? Why am I not trying hard? And it's just it becomes about the journey, not the destination, I guess would be the simplest way of saying it. And I think it's quite a sort of amazing process to go through. But when you're, especially if you're more of a smart person, for example, and I always identified as being more of a smart person, I judged people who went to the gym. I was like, look at these fucking morons, like, and you assume like that's not for me, and it's a thing that like dumb guys do, like, and you sort of judge it from afar. When I was a teenager, that's what I did. I thought it was like really dumb, you know. I think I simultaneously felt that, and I also felt like insecure about it. So I was like, nah, that's for dumb people. But it's an extremely mentally rewarding process, I think, in general. Getting fit in general, not just strength training. I think cardio is in that regard is even better. Like, cool. And I've missed it. For a while I got so into strength training that I stopped doing any cardio. I stopped running because for a while before I got really into strength training, I was like really into running, and I was a psychotic runner, like competitive with people who weren't racing. You know, I'd be like running around the park and just like, I'd be like, I'm fucking overtaking you, bro. You're done. You're getting smoked. And they would just be looking like, I'm just out for a jog. Why are you racing me? And I would see someone in the distance and I'd be like, target acquired. And I'd fucking just like bomb it past them. I'd kill myself running like crazily. And it was really powerful mentally. Like I did it at times during when me and my girlfriend went through this horrific period of phenibut withdrawal, and it was terrible, and we couldn't sleep for more than like an hour, if that, a night. We wrecked our brains with phenibut, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for a fucking run every day. So I got up and went for a run every morning, and it really helped get me through that time. And I was run like a madman. And yeah, I stopped for when I got really into strength training. I didn't run much, you know, and now I've been doing it again recently, and it's fucking awesome. Like, you can't really beat running. Like, a good run in a nice location, it sorts you out, man. Like, your mind, it sorts you out. And I feel we've all been robbed of like that part of life, or a lot of us have. Like, when I was a kid, I skived PE for like years, mostly because I was embarrassed about having tits, because I had tits when I was a teenager. I had gynecomastia, to put it more politely, and I didn't want to go in the changing rooms, and also because I went through puberty really late, so I also didn't want to be in the changing rooms. I couldn't believe that people used to shower at school together. I was like, I'm fucking, you can point a gun at my head, I'm not getting in that shower. You're fucking joking. Like, I am not getting in there. So to anyone who's like American and doesn't know what skived PE means, like, I bunked, I guess. Or what do you call it? Skipped? No, what do Americans call it? Cut. I cut class. I cut PE. I skived PE for years. A, because I didn't want to do it. B, because I just didn't want to go in the changing rooms. So I used to just like hide and sneak off and go to the shops and buy chocolate and make myself fat, make my tits bigger. And there were a lot of kids like me, you know, who thought exercise is just something that makes you feel bad. And that's crazy. Everyone should exercise. Like, if you're depressed or anxious and you don't exercise, start there. That's it. Full stop. Just start there. Like, look no further. Full stop. It's, in my view, it's virtually impossible to be happy if you don't exercise. Some people are. I think it's virtually impossible. And at a minimum, you're missing out on a huge part of life. I can't recommend enough. Just exercise, push yourself. You know, to me, running is the foundation of all of it. But strength training, running, whatever, just fucking, yeah. When I look back at myself and when I look now at other people, it's shocking. Like, how many of us don't exercise. It's shocking and sad. For years of well into my adult life, I didn't exercise. And it's, in hindsight, it's shocking, absolutely shocking. Like, it's hard for me to imagine how I coped, to be honest. Yeah, it's making me want to go for a run right now, to be honest. I fucking feel like going for one. While it's a bit less hot, I might have a nighttime run. I usually do them in the morning, but I wouldn't mind a nighttime run. In the past, I wouldn't, because today is a Friday. Friday, and I did upper body training today. So I did like various things, weights and pull-ups and other shit. And if you're just trying to gain muscle and strength, it's suboptimal to go for a run later in that day, because it depletes I forget the chemical, but the chemical that signals your body to whatever. You're taking kind of growth potential away from the workout, and you're wasting your efforts in the workout. So in the past, I would have been like, fuck that, I'm not running the day after on the same day of doing strength training. But that's one of the things when I'm like, now that I'm older, I'm not old, I'm like 2 years older than I was at that time, but now that I've been doing it longer and I feel I'm becoming more mature about it, I think like, just fucking keep fit. Like, don't think about all that bullshit, really. It's good when it helps, but like at the end of the day, if you're gonna not go for a run because you think it's bad, or you're gonna like not have a cake that someone's made or something, it's just stupid. It's ridiculous. It's great to be in shape, to be fit, to get stronger, but like, I don't think it should stop you being, unless it's your job, it shouldn't stop you being normal. And trying to focus specifically on like the direct objective progress you make shouldn't stop you from going for a run, because going for a run is about so much more than that. It's such a mental thing, it's fun, it keeps your cardio up, and like, generally I think really, if you want to run, you should just fucking run. I would say though, if you make a habit of running after strength training, like every time, then that's probably stupid, to be fair, because you're just kind of going to be doing all this training for zero results. But to do it on occasion is absolutely fine. But I went through a period where like, if I didn't get like 7 hours sleep, I would like freak out, because I was like, I'm losing my fucking gains, and like I was going mad about everything I ate and becoming a freak basically. And I didn't realise during that time, like, yeah, you know, women like it when guys are in shape, but they also like it when they're chilled out and normal, and when they're not like acting like a psychopath about, like, you know, not hitting all their macros that day or whatever, and, you know, walking around all like uptight and serious and shit. Yeah, I feel that's, I think it's normal that you start like that, you know, and it's okay. Like, I think it's good, if anything, to be overly serious and to take to do it a bit too much when you start. But I also think it's good that over time you can sort of chill out a bit and focus on the fundamentals of it and keep doing it and be consistent and eat well, but not be a weirdo about it. Yeah, but it depends on your circumstances anyway. But yeah, fucking love exercise, man. Yeah, absolutely love it. Alright, chaps, that's all really, yeah. Sorry if this one was not very interesting, or a bit all over the place, or whatever. I'll make this an ongoing series, I think, and those who are not into this kind of thing can just ignore it when it pops up, because I'll still be doing other normal videos, and those of you that like it can enjoy it. Yeah. Alright, cool. Take care.